Pull Up a Cheer Clash is in session. We are headed back to the board, back to the film.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button.
Oh, hit the like button.
We're not at 100 yet. Hit the like button.
Yeah, hit the like button. I think you're going to like this one. We're headed back to the board. School is now in session. We're breaking down the receivers that the Cowboys will face this year. And the next guy that I picked in this one is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh.
And there's nothing about Amon-Ra that is super imposing. Not a very big guy. Not a very fast guy.
Not necessarily a burner.
Not a burner.
But a dog.
He is a football playing Jesse. Like he is a dog. He is a junkyard dog. If there is a receiver that matches the energy of their head coach, Amon-Ra matches the energy of Dan Campbell. And Dan Campbell matches the energy of Amon-Ra St. Brown. And when you look at what they did offensively, you saw the graphic that they ran a lot of in-breaking routes in this offense that was under Ben Johnson, who's now
Go
left.
Heels.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
You know what I'm saying? Who is now the head coach at the Chicago Bears. But want to take a look at this clip right here of Amon-Ra St. Brown and just break this thing down just a little bit. Right now, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown at the top. Now, when you look at this formation, you're going to see a couple things going on. Remember last week we told you when you break the huddle, guys are looking at what's the coverage, what's this right here. I'm going to call this 3 cloud or 3 sky, right? When you talk about cover 3, is guys having the third of the zone, but 3 sky gives you a little bit different look because you're going to have that safety kind of, if necessary, working the flat. So this is one of those 3 cloud looks from the defensive side of the ball. You break the huddle, Jared Goff comes to the huddle, Amon-Ra is at the top of this right here, and I can tell you that they're going silent count. How do you know they're going silent count, Jesse? Well, look at the guard. Okay, look at the guard right here. You see him stick their hand out like that?
And he ain't looking at the ball or nothing.
He ain't looking at the ball or nothing. He's looked back at Jared Goff. Jared Goff gives him the, all right, I'm ready to go. And this is his signal to the center. Now, once he gives that signal to the center, and lets the center know that, hey, Jared Goff's ready to go. And now we are moving when you decide to snap the ball. So you see that little hand down there that he's giving? He's letting the center know that Jared Goff's ready to receive the pass. What's very unique about Detroit's offense, and a lot of teams do it, but Detroit does it a lot. They run a lot of their sets from a condensed split. Bunt sets, condensed splits. You ask me, what is condensed splits? You see guys and receivers lined up outside the numbers, at the numbers, spread out. Detroit runs a very tight condensed formation. Now, how does that help them offensively? When you run a condensed formation in sets, sometimes even with the bunch, guys can't press that. They give you a little bit of off coverage, so now you have what we call a free release. Guys aren't at the line of scrimmage, bumping and jamming you, throwing the timing off the route that you're doing. So I start in the condensed form, and now you don't know whether I want to run an in-breaking route or an out-breaking route from that condensed form. So you got to kind of play it off a little bit. You see a lot of teams that get caught off in those picks when guys are in these condensed forms and they're in these tight splits. So Detroit's run this right here in a condensed formation. What you're going to notice is up top with Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to run a dig route. What's important about this is in the 3 sky zone coverages, that DB is playing slightly outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown. But because Amon-Ra is in a condensed form, what he has to maintain and keep is a little bit of outside threat, because I want to keep the line so I'm not getting pushed down in my route. So you see when Amon-Ra comes off the ball, that outside foot, he takes it and I'm pointing it outside to get that DB just to honor outside just a little bit to open up that lane. We call it open up the gate, right? That DB opens up that inside hip, and now Amon-Ra has that free release up the middle of the field. What's important about this for Amon-Ra St. Brown is I got to maintain my verticality, right? Sometimes guys get a little bit rough, they get a little bit hurried. And what happens is if I don't get the full depth of this route and I go too early or too soon, my window closes. And when your window closes, the throw is either incomplete or the quarterback goes to another route. So Amon-Ra has created the window or created the gate to open up, and he's keeping this thing vertical up the field, pressing the guys up the field, keeping that DB on the outside hip, as you can see right here, because he's going to want that linebacker, go back. He wants that linebacker. He knows, hey, here's what's coming underneath. I have a shallow cross coming underneath. I want that linebacker to see that shallow cross. I'll have a running back coming underneath that shallow cross as well. We'll create a mesh, but I need that linebacker to eat up on that shallow cross. But he has to keep it vertical. He has to keep that straight line because these are how your windows are opening up for this particular pass play. As you can see, Amon-Ra continues his verticality. And I told you this was 3.
Why there's a lot of being worried about 11 on a 4-yard route. Y'all need to chill out and back up.
Here's the thing. When you're running that 3 cloud, someone has to play the flat. The linebacker has to hook the curl. Right. Normally, the DB would play that. But because he's playing 3 sky, he's carrying the vertical route up the field, and that safety is getting to where that flat is going. If you look at that DB at the bottom, right, you see him pointing. He's passing that through. He's saying, in to alert those other guys that we have an in-breaking route, and he's going to pick up that running back coming back across the field. But you see what's developing? That linebacker is cheating up on that in call for that shallow cross coming. The hole behind him for that dig route is opening up for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And if you watch Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's still maintaining that outside leverage.
In that frame, he's still threatening
He's still threatening that outside leverage with the thought of verticality so that he keeps that DB on his outside hip. As you continue to go through this clip, you see, go back one thing. I also want to point this out. Sometimes you talk about, receivers, you're not getting the ball, but you running your route full speed matters.
Right.
Jameis Williamson at the bottom. What you know about Jameis Williamson is speed.
Blow the top out defense,
that safety, while he's in the middle of the field, he feels that. He understands that I have to be able to help that backside corner as well. So you see that speed that Jameson is keeping. His verticality, it keeps that safety in the middle of the field just a hint longer. So sometimes young receivers, you have to understand, even though the ball isn't coming to you, you are still a very, very vital part of this route being open.
Love of the game route.
It's a love of the game
route.
It's a conditioning route right here. But the thing is,
if that safety really wants to cover Amon-Ra, you'll get it.
But if you hit 2 or 3 of these in a game, that safety goes, they ain't throwing that go route. We going, I'm gonna jump this dig. And they go, whoop, over your head. Jameis Williamson for a 70-yard touchdown. But, all right, next clip. You see the ball is out right now. I love this because Amon-Ra is breaking and the ball is already out. Ball's gone. Jared Goff already sees that everything is playing out the way it's supposed to play out. The ball is on the way. He has the vision for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra has kept the defender on his outside hip. Now, what's important, young receivers, or all receivers, watch Amon-Ra's next step. He's going to come down back to the ball, not floating upfield, but back to the ball. And I love this because the dig route should be called 2 yards before the hash. You see Amon-Ra come back to the ball. He catches that thing 2 yards inside the hash. I'm going to show it to you from the back. Look at that. That's almost perfect. It is almost perfect. 2 yards before the hash. Now, what I also want you to see is this. In every route concept, you're going to have a triangle. This is called the triangle of success. When you start talking about what is my reads, first, second, third, and when you have conceptual routes run, I don't care where you run them out on the field. It should end with some sort of triangle. It may not always be the perfect triangle, but there should be a triangle shape in between 3 of the pass catchers or receivers in that concept. As you see here, you have the triangle of success. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. They ran their routes fully. They ran their routes at the right depth and at the right pace. And that's why you have this gaping window for Jared Goff to throw this perfect 2 yards from the hash dig route to Amon-Ra St. Brown, kept the defender on his backside for completion. And that's why you have the success that you had in the Detroit Lions offense last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's another one of these guys that we have to worry about as the Cowboys are taking on the Detroit Lions this season. Amon-Ra, not big, not fast, not superimposing, just a straight-up junkyard dog who gets it done. We'll see what this offense is this year without Ben Johnson, but I'm sure that the offensive coordinator will continue to do some of these same concepts, condensed splits, running in-breaking routes, having guys do what they're supposed to do. Make sure you hit the like button so we can keep doing it.